guys, welcome to this week's weekly bump. Thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what these cards have to say. We have piles 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have an Orchid Calcite, Howlite, Fuschite, and an Orange Calcite. So go ahead, take a moment and feel drawn or intuitively pulled toward one pile. If you feel connected with multiple piles, that's fine. Feel free to select both, and you can also ask a question because you might just get an answer. The timestamps for each pile will be in the description box and the comment thread down below. All right, see you in a sec. Okay, pile number 1, you guys selected the Orchid Calcite. Let's go ahead and see what these cards have to say for you this week. Okay, sacral chakra, crown chakra, feeling alone. Lots of chakras coming out, throat chakra, and share the love. Okay, so let's see. Let's make sure that I got these straight. Okay, so I know there's a little bit of a glare, but that's okay. So I'm seeing kind of from top to bottom chakras here. We have a lower sacral chakra, which has a lot to do with your creative energy, has to do with your sexuality. You know, you may be feeling either blocked in that area or maybe a little in overdrive. So it would be good to really tap into what's going on with your body, tap into what's going on with your desires. When we have the crown chakra, there can be a little over imagination going on. There can be an overactive mind. Maybe worry for some of you as well. There can be some, really lucid dreaming happening for you guys right now as well. So when we have these cards, actually, let me skip forward to the throat chakra because often there has to be some kind of expression. So when we have the creative chakra and the expression chakra, they need to work together. You might be feeling things and desiring things and yet unable to express it or unable to create it or manifest it in the world. When we have this feeling alone card, it tells me that maybe you feel that you don't have anyone to share it with or that no one cares, or perhaps you're feeling like you're coming up short in terms of solutions for something. Feeling alone does not necessarily mean you are alone. If you are in an awakening process, if you are doing deep meditations right now, if you are feeling connected to your spirit, you might be feeling very disconnected from the earth. Remember that it is all about balance. I don't want to see anyone being so in their spirituality that they completely miss out on what's happening right in front of them in the moment. So make sure that you're finding that balance. Feeling alone can also indicate a need for solitude or a desire for solitude for some kind of emergence later on. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. I do sense with these cards that you have something spinning, you have something working, there's something in the works, and maybe you need to just simply be in solitude right now, which, I know we're starting to open the world back up, but maybe you do need to still continue to be in that shell a little bit so that you feel more confident and empowered to do whatever it is you're needing to do. This emergent energy with the throat chakra, it's kind of like emerging, like coming up from, I'm kind of envisioning like someone swimming in like a lake and you can't see them, and then all of a sudden they just kind of come up out of the water out of nowhere, and it's like, oh wow, like there was a sound, a splash, and someone's gasping for air, and it's like whoosh, kind of loud. I feel like there's a loud emergence for you. And so if you need to be alone, that's okay, but if you're feeling lonely, that's a totally different thing. And when we have the share the love, it is important for you to connect. Especially when, we have kind of so many chakras going on here, this one being associated with the heart chakra. So don't neglect this one because you're not sure what's going on here, okay? I think that if you focus on your heart, all the others will sort of follow suit. They'll sort of fall in line. For whatever reason, I'm sensing that you guys are having really good ideas right now, and your creativity is really flowing right now. And you're just maybe not quite sure when's the right time. We are making our way through a Venus retrograde right now. We have Jupiter and Saturn in retrograde, making our way up to a new moon in Gemini. And I think that when that new moon hits, there's going to be a lot of agitation because Gemini is a very, hyper kind of energy. And that new moon was going to spark, I think, even more ideas. But I think that's good. For some reason, I'm feeling that patience on your ideas is a good thing, because the more patient you are and the more time you take now, and the more you just simply connect with people, and maybe this is even a quality of sharing, maybe sharing your ideas or sharing what you're wanting to do, this whole brainstorming energy will actually produce an amazing result, is what I'm feeling. And that's why the emergence is happening later on. And maybe that's even why you're feeling a little bit of a lack of confidence with that, is because you know that right now is just simply not the time. But I think that's okay. I wouldn't want to block your chakras altogether, though. So make sure that you are still, doing mind calming meditations, and that you're still creating something, whether it's even just through journaling, or if you're just talking it through with someone. Make sure that you're still using your throat chakra. Make sure that you're still, ensuring that your chakras down here, up down here, sacral, and then your crown chakra is at least at rest and spinning well, so that it's not, a cause for fear. Right? You definitely don't want fear or shame. You don't want insecurities. Show the world the real you, and luck is on your side. Okay, you guys, there's a call to be authentic here. There's a call to be everything that you are already. And I'm sensing that you have become more and more acquainted with yourself. And now that you are feeling more confident or becoming more confident, it's now time to start sharing. Although, like I was saying, if I'm seeing an emergence later on, so I'm wondering if it's kind of that you're needing to get on board with something about yourself before. You're needing to get on board with a full idea, or to develop a full, complete idea. And for that will require patience. I don't know why I'm seeing patience. It's not coming out in the cards, but I'm really feeling compelled to tell you that. And we have luck is on your side, meaning it's going to be okay. The right door is going to open. The right person's going to show up. The right email is going to come through. Don't worry, it's going to happen. There's no need for any worry here at all. Sometimes when we're feeling like this, it can feel like a big dark place in our life, but really it's actually quite a beautiful place, right? Whenever we're in the moonlight, so to speak, it's such a nurturing space. And then we have the horse spirit, freedom is yours. Wow, okay. Emergence, for sure. Emerging from something, emerging from the aloneness. You guys are creating a new life for yourself that is going to be better than I think you ever possibly imagined that would be possible for you. It's going to be a life that you enjoy and you share and you feel like you've never felt before. And I'm even, it's like a wild Mustang energy. Like there's nothing more free. There's nothing more beautiful. There's nothing more graceful. Have you guys ever seen a pack of wild Mustangs? It is unbelievable to watch them run. It is, I think, the epitome of what freedom is. And to me, whether it's a business idea that you're churning up, whether it's a new endeavor you're trying to work for, this is a kind of a go for it message. Oh my God, you guys, Lakshmi, goddess of abundance. I choose to feel abundant. Wealth is an inside job. Okay, we have got luck, we've got abundance, we have authenticity, we have creativity and expression, we have love. I mean, you're moving into a chapter of your life that truly is for you. That truly is and can and will provide all the circumstances that you've been hoping for and better. But more importantly, it's the feeling of safety and security and the feeling of just simple joy. Lilith, oh, amazing. I love Lilith with a horse spirit because I think they're very similar in that nature. The first woman. I am the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. This is so much about stepping into the architectural role of your life. You are in maybe the blueprint planning phase right now. Okay, you're in the design phase. But eventually it's going to come time to start working with that contractor to get that foundation going and to get that framing going. And it's time for you to really start acknowledging what's happening in your energetic sphere right now. Because the sad thing could be that you have this potential and you sit and do nothing. And then you have so many reasons to kind of resent yourself. And then there's no reason to ever be in that place. There's no reason to ever have any regret ever. Not when these kinds of cards are coming out. You are incredibly empowered in this moment, and the choices that you make in this moment are very important and have very real consequences. And this is the time for you to be unapologetically yourself. Okay? Defend to the end the worthwhile. Boom. That's a cool card. Defend to the end the worthwhile. And I'm sure you have something in your life that is 100% worthwhile, 100% worth your time. What is worthwhile? Your passions, the things you care about. Even if the things that you care about seem silly to other people. If they are important to you, if they matter to you, if they strike a chord with you, they are worthwhile, okay? New beginnings, begin your new life. Oh my gosh. It just keeps kind of getting better, I think, at this point. New beginnings. And again, the importance of acknowledging where you really are in this phase. Last year, 2019, I think was a strong message of the turning over from the old to the new. And now we are in the beginning stages of the new. There's still some remnants of the old. But truly the new, whatever that is and whatever that means for you, is in the works. This is very much a rising from the phoenix. We have a phoenix image here. And sometimes the very beginning of the beginning isn't so pretty. And that's when we get discouraged. But if you acknowledge that it is the beginning of the beginning, maybe you'll be okay. Maybe it will feel better. Maybe it will make more sense. Maybe the picture will be more clear. Okay. Now we have regret and patience. Okay, regret. I don't know if I used that word before. I don't think I did, but regret. I know that I cannot change the past. This is, of course, a mark of forgiveness. This is a mark of compassion. This is a mark of just simply saying what's done is done. There is no point in worrying about it right now. And there's absolutely no point. Not when you're on the precipice of something so wonderful. And, we have patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. So when I'm seeing the emergence energy, okay, there will be a moment when you're like, now's the time. Now's the time to act. Now's the time to pull the trigger. Now is the time to do the thing. If you're not feeling it now, then don't. It's okay. If you're not feeling confident, if you're feeling a little bit questiony, like you're questioning things, it's probably a bad sign. Okay? Like there is never, in a wild Mustang's mind, there is never that moment where it says, should I start running? It never says that. It just like either starts running or it doesn't. It either just starts moving in a new direction or it doesn't. It's very natural. Somehow humans have really worked themselves out of their naturalness. So it's important to get back to that natural state. When I'm grateful for what I have, I can feel good along the way to what I desire. Yeah, gratitude, abundance, feeling that, being in that state, being in a state of gratitude, always very important. So that's kind of an easy one. Oh, and then gateway. And we have a unicorn. Oh my gosh, we have the horse spirit, we have the unicorn, we have the phoenix. We even have the owl of wisdom up here. And we have the Sagittarian centaur arrow pointing in a very specific direction. It is a gateway. What did I say? It's the beginning of the beginning. It is a gateway. and you're crossing the threshold as we speak. You are in a state of preparation, most likely. And what's so crazy is that I just don't think that you can fathom, like, really what this is all going to shape out to be. Like you have an idea of what you want, but you're going to be so much more pleased with how it actually turns out. Like, the reality of it is going to be better than the fantasy of it, which rarely happens. Okay, that's kind of what I'm hearing, that the reality will be better than the fantasy. Okay, so this is a really exciting time, but you also have to stay empowered. You have to stay in the creative role. You have to stay in the architect's chair. Okay, now I know we're in a Venus retrograde. I told you guys I was going to be really pulling out romance cards for the Venus retrograde, whether you're single or in a relationship. Let's just go ahead and see what the romantic energy is around you at this time. This seems very solo, meaning it is very much about you and your path and your goals. So let's see what comes out regarding the romantic energy for pile 1. Children. Oh, stop it. I love that. Your love life is being affected by children. So whether you have kids or whether you are tapping into the childlike nature. And I actually love that with all these chakras and all this creation and the horse spirit, because it is that playfulness, playing with your life, playing with your energy, playing with metaphysics, playing with manifestation and law of attraction. It's playing with and learning. And so from a romantic standpoint, if you can play with your romantic life, right? And if you have a family, if you have children, play together. Play together, enjoy. For those of you who are wanting to get pregnant, this could be an interesting card for you. You know, maybe that's something that might happen for you. Okay, let's see. One more. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is returning to your life. And we do have the Venus retrograde, which can absolutely cause reconciliation. It can bring people back into your sphere, whether you like it or not. Doesn't necessarily guarantee that that's going to be the case. The one warning with reconciliation during a Venus retrograde is that sometimes, especially with Neptune being involved, you can have some pretty rose-colored glasses on and not see things clearly. The whole point of this first message was really self-empowerment and to make sure that you're doing things for you. So if you're sitting there waiting or hoping for someone to come back into your life and they do, make sure that you do not leave your track. Do not veer off your path. Do not make too many accommodations, okay? Now, if you're in a marriage and you're kind of fighting, of course, a reconciliation is very welcome. This is an opportunity for you to get on the same page, to recalibrate, to come back together, and perhaps even reignite your sexual passion. So, depending on where you are in the spectrum, okay, it's just something to be cognizant of. It's something to allow to happen, not to force it to happen. It is important that you are in a state of receiving right now, because the receiving energy is going to be the means by which you get. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with that. That was a really beautiful reading. I hope you guys have an amazing week. I'm preparing monthlies now, so you should start to see that coming out soon. I'm not quite sure, 8-9 days maybe. So we may have another weekly bump before that, but just wanted to let you guys know. All right, thank you guys so much. Take care. Okay, pile number 2, you guys selected the Howlite. Let's go ahead and see what these cards have to say. Third eye chakra, well-deserved reward, rebuild, confront and choose your battles. Okay. rebuild in the very center of the reading. You're trying to start fresh, start new, begin again. I'm feeling, all this Gemini stuff, right? We've got the sun coming into Gemini with a new moon. We've got the North Node. We've got Venus retrograde. We've got Mercury in there this week. And I know that Gemini is always said to be all about talking and communicating, but it also rules the ears and has a lot to do with listening as well as being the opposite end of the talking spectrum, right? There's talking and listening. They go together. I feel with Choose Your Battles, this is not a time for talking more as it is a time for listening. I think there are going to be a lot of people that have a lot to say, and it's going to be very important for you to not get in your own way and defend the way that you think it's supposed to be. I'm not saying all these other people are going to be right. I'm not saying they're smarter or anything like that, but they may have some useful ideas. Choosing the battle is not really so much as choose with whom you are going to have a conflict with, but maybe you choose not to have a conflict at all and just allow people to have their voice. And that may manifest in the future as a sign of these other people having some kind of appreciation for you, as people having, a newfound respect for you. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to do, but I'm feeling like there's going to be a favor. I'm getting that quality. There's a favor coming out of this. So it's really in your best interest to put yourself aside, to put your pride aside, and simply listen. Because if you're in a rebuilding process, there might be some good ideas that come out of this. There might be some really cool new ways of looking at it, because you don't want to rebuild in the same way that you've always done it, right? This is about doing it differently this time, truly different. And we have this third eye chakra, which says your intuition is very, very strong right now. Your intuition is guiding you. It might be a little overactive though, which especially with all the Gemini energy, it might be, really, your mind might be going crazy. You might have a lot of thoughts, a lot of narratives running through your mind right now. There might be a feeling of nervousness with things. But what I'm seeing actually with this well-deserved reward card is a path of least resistance, and maybe that's the reward itself. The reward is the path of least resistance. You confronting your shadow, you confronting the part of you that feels a certain way about something that might be based in fear or insecurity, and getting beneath that or getting behind that and looking at the real reason for those fears and insecurities, and kind of pulling those issues out by the root so they no longer affect you, creating an open channel for you. I know this card is called Choose Your Battles, but when I'm looking at the imagery in these cards, I see what I'm seeing is a council, as though the people in your life are kind of your counsel. And while none of them will have the complete or perfect solution, they will offer a piece of the puzzle that will ultimately become the wholeness of the image, right? The wholeness of the goal. And they all have something worthwhile to contribute, but you have to listen. Because ultimately, whatever it is you're trying to rebuild is the reward itself, the having of those things. Okay? Skunk spirit, know your worth. Know your worth. This doesn't mean that you have to stand up and puff out your chest and make yourself feel a certain way about something. It does mean doing what you know to be right for you, which is why you don't accept anyone's ideas as the full thing. This is about collecting information, but empowering yourself to do something with it. Empowering yourself to put the pieces of the puzzle together to create the right image that you're wanting. This to me is what I feel is strength of character. And when you come up against some obstacles, how do you handle that? How do you respond? That's going to really show you and the people around you how strong you really are. Because when someone really knows what they're worth, they don't allow any external things to really dictate anything about themselves. Let's see what other these cards are. Don't let pride get in your way. And what do you need to release? Yeah, definitely when it comes to pride, and I don't necessarily mean that there's always two kinds of pride, right? There's the good kinds of pride that has, confidence and self-empowerment, and then there's kind of the lower vibrational pride, which is more stubborn and ego. So we definitely don't want the stubbornness and the ego to get in your way. And maybe what you need to release is the idea that you think you know best. Now, I'm not saying anyone else knows best, but their perspectives are valid this week. Your perspectives are valid. And because we have Venus retrograde and she's connecting with Neptune, and also Mars is in Pisces now, there's going to be a need for clarity. It's going to be important for you to realize that you might not be as clear on things as you think you are, which is why these things are so important. And when you really know your worth, you don't have to feel insecure when other people offer you new ideas. If you really are operating in your goddess or godlike energy, then you will listen to everybody and everything, not to take it as truth, but for at least putting it under consideration. And to release pride, perhaps. To release the concrete image that you had and allow yourself to be malleable, to be flexible, to have enough self-worth to change your mind or to change your path. Like I say, I think the reward is the path of least resistance. That's the reward itself. So it's kind of like when the universe opens up like the Red Sea. Well, are you going to decide to not go straight across, or are you going to go all the way around? Are you going to go the long way? I mean, you can, but why? I feel like there's something a little bit magical that's going to be showing up for you this week or in the weeks to come that you'll be really happy that you had an open mind for. Mary Magdalene, I am the bridge between heaven and earth. I am fully human and fully divine. Okay? Yes, beautiful. This is about matching the spirit with the physical, equal, right? That's the one thing about Gemini that I love. It really does represent a balance. You can balance out the dualities of all things. You can balance out the fear and the joy. You can balance out the physical and the metaphysical, right? All these things coming together, working together, understanding that all things are all one. And maybe right now you need to allow the metaphysical, right? Third eye, you need to allow the metaphysical to guide you. Maybe that's where the strength really comes in. Knowing your worth means knowing what you really are. Okay? Parvati, I am a love that doesn't leave. When I commit to love, my soul evolves. You're committing to love, maybe with a person, but more so committing to just simply love itself. Love as a channel or a mechanism through which Source guides and commands us. I'm seeing a greater love of life coming for you this week, and an evolution. I'm seeing fluidity. There can be no rigidity for you guys this week at all. Look, the more rigid you are, the more aggressive you're going to get with people. And that would be a shame because they probably have some really good things to say. I really feel that. I feel that they have valid perspectives. So when you find yourself getting a little agitated or a little prideful, if you do, okay, if that happens, take a step back, take a breath, and ask yourself, what do I need to release right now? What do I need to undo? Because what I feel is that the universe is really trying to give you a lot of favors. What is already within you? Okay, that goes with the Know Your Worth card. There seems to be a misunderstanding of the gap between where you perceive yourself to be and where you're going, especially if you have material goals. Remember, the path of least resistance is the reward. And to me, I feel like the thing that you're hoping for, the thing that you're trying to rebuild, the thing that you're, the direction that you're headed, your future self already has it. And so I don't know that you necessarily have to push that hard at all. Because the things you're aiming for are things that you already have. And when you start acting like you already have it, it is more free to come because it creates a path of least resistance. There can be no tension. I'm surprised we're not getting cards about surrender. Surrendering here, because I think that's an important word to put out there, to surrender. And that there is nothing outside of yourself that is ever going to make you feel more worthy. That everything you need is already here, right? I am love that doesn't leave. And that's truly what you are, then this is a week to really act like it. I think this confront card is going to be probably at the forefront of everything, where you're going to have, confrontations with yourself all week long. And as Saturn gets closer and closer to re-entering into Capricorn, coming into that 30th degree of Capricorn, you're definitely going to feel, glad that you did the work now in preparatory mode. And you're going to be glad that you really tapped into your faith. Dragon, discover your courage. Okay, well, we have pride and courage coming out. Sometimes we don't think of ourselves as having to be courageous. Sometimes we think of it as having to be speaking something so big. But I don't think this courage this week is big or loud in any way. The courage comes in the opening. The courage comes from the release and from the humility. And the peace comes from the idea that your path could change, and that's okay. Because I genuinely believe there are amazing things in the works for you, and there are a lot of things that you just simply can't see. But if you start walking down that path of least resistance, those things will come to fruition much sooner than you think. Card of empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second to completely let go of your own voice. I'm just saying listen to others. That's it. That's all I'm saying. And then we have indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Interesting that we have these, purple indigo cards, and we have that third eye chakra coming out as well. Your intuition is strong. Your intuition is fierce. And I think your intuition is guiding you to be silent, to go into listening mode rather than to be in hyperactive mode. Now, you can still do things, but this is not a week of bulldozing through stuff. Seeing both sides of a situation and use your intuition. Use your intuition when you get all these other ideas, these other voices. Say what works for me, what makes sense, where does someone have a point, and to just be open to the new. True manifestations are powered by service and love. We had a card of love here as well. Maybe you're opening yourself up to how you can be of greater service in the world, how you can open up your path a little bit more. Maybe you are feeling a little bit more love for humanity right now. Maybe your intentions are very unselfish. Your goals are very unselfish, because whenever you, let's say, for example, if you're starting to incorporate a hobby more into your life, and that hobby can make an impact in a positive way in the world, that is absolutely something that's powered by service and love. And when you open yourself up more to that, you might be surprised as to how your path changes. And that might be the path of least resistance right now. That might be where the rebuilding energy actually starts to take hold rather than rebuilding something old, trying to get it back to how it used to be. The mutable quality of Gemini is important. Important to remember that it is malleable. It's not set in stone. There's no rules. Nothing's concrete here. So flexibility is important. And then we have action. Okay, now, like I was saying, it's okay to still take action this week. I think you're going to need to. This is not a time of just being inside and being lonely and, it's none of that kind of stuff. It's incorporating new ideas and going for it. I think we're not going to be able to avoid the hypercharged Gemini essence. No one is. We're there. That's what's going on. So we're all sort of seeking and looking and searching and striving and researching and learning. We're all in this kind of phase. And so I think you're very quickly going to be absorbing new things, bringing it into your repertoire and creating something really cool from it. So, this might be an interesting week just to kind of pay attention to how you respond to things, how you're reacting, how you're feeling. For example, I myself, for the past 3 weeks, have been waking up with a knot in my stomach. That's how I respond to Gemini energy, right? I feel nervous all the time for no good reason at all. And maybe you are responding to this season and responding to the planetary alignments right now in a very specific way. So it's important to pay attention to your body as well, because it is guiding you in a specific direction. Okay, so listen. Now, for those of you who are in relationships or want some insight into the relationship energy, especially given the Venus retrograde, let's go ahead and take a look here. Keep an open mind. Oh my God, what did we just say? Your partner or your friends or whatever definitely could be giving you some insight into your love life. Your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. Path of least resistance. It's time to step out of your idea of what you think it's supposed to be. It's not a time of having a very stringent list of all the things that you wish your partner had, and start seeing them for the beauty of what they are. And if you're single, this is like the person that you are going to be with, is not going to fit that list. It's not going to fit that criteria. Most likely it'll be better, because that's how the universe works, right? Path of least resistance, you guys. Okay, let's take a look at one more card. Let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. See all this receptive energy that we're getting? This is all about receiving. It's all about just completely saying, give me what you got, universe. Just tell me, let me hear it, let me have it. I'm listening, I'm open. Just tell me what you got. That's it. And that's going to be the best attitude that you can have. And it's going to be the most productive attitude that you can have as well. Okay, so when it comes to love, let people help you. This is the main card, I think. Honestly, choose your battles. Listen to the counsel. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Monthly should be coming out soon. There might be another weekly bump next Monday, but as soon as I get the monthlies done, I will publish them. All right? Thanks so much, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3. You guys selected the Fuschite, one of my favorites, called the Fairy Stone. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Alrighty, we have nurture, balance. Trying to make these straight here. Last week they weren't straight and it was bugging me. Release, okay, joy and stability, and take the lead. Okay. So what I'm feeling is, I'm looking at this nurture, and the word nurture coming, very close with nature. I'm seeing a deep connection or a strong desire to be in or around nature, and to really unify with it. It really will be in your best interest to surround yourself. I'm hearing like green, like be around the green plants. So if you have plants in your home, if you live near a forest, or if you have a park nearby, I would absolutely make your best efforts to go and to convene in that way. Put your feet in the grass, that kind of thing. Nurture your soul. There seems to be something of coming back to what's natural. Something with being natural. And to me, this balance signifies more so internal balance, signifies a unity between the inside and the outside. Feeling of acceptance with release coming out. Releasing the demons, releasing the pain, releasing the fear or the worry, the anxiety, and just completely opening yourself up to the light, opening yourself up to fearlessness, opening yourself up to just absolute acceptance. Taking the lead is, first of all, you taking the lead really in your own life. I'm seeing this hand reaching up, right? There is and she's even reaching up here toward the light as well. Like grabbing the light, really. Grabbing the joy and just being that by choice. I'm feeling an air of like being celebratory, celebrating. And that's might even be as much as celebrating nothing at all. Just celebrating for the sake of doing it. Even on his face, there's a feeling of peace. On everyone's face, there's like this feeling of serenity. And I see that you guys are really unifying in the heart space here. We have the heart chakra. We have the heart chakra being lit up here. And you may have a week where you just feel in a flow that might have been very hard to come by in the past. Maybe this Gemini energy is reacting very well with your energy field. Maybe you're feeling like things are possible again. You're feeling yourself open up. And I don't think this really has anything to do with the pandemic. I don't think it has to do with that. I think this is just the nature of where the stars are guiding you. large amount of optimism and initiation. I think there's a feeling of being an initiative, taking initiative on things. Setting intentions and acting together, right? Balance. It's not just about the intention, it's about the action that follows up. Being keenly aware of consequences. Let's see what these moon cards have to say. You're very close to achieving your goal. It's a time to give rather than take. Interesting. Okay. I like this because, you definitely have, like I say, there's just an acceptance of where you're at. And to be honest, knowing that you're very close to achieving your goal is probably something that you don't even really care about that much. Because was never about the achievement of anything. It was about the path. It was about the journey itself. I have a feeling you're someone who doesn't necessarily feel incredibly happy when you achieve things. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, I did it. What next? It's not that you feel unhappy. It's just that that's not your source of joy because you're operating from the true source, which is internal. And there's no achievement. There's no, milestone that you can hit that actually is going to ever make you veer off of this course, that's ever going to make you feel joy from something external from you. And I think you are in a very generous spirit because how could you not be with nurture and nature and joy, stability, taking the lead? You're in a position to be of service to the world right now. You're in a position to give and to provide value. You're in a position to bring more light, clearly. Clearly, you're here to bring more light. And to provide a nurturing for other people. Maybe that's a thing, is not only are you nurturing yourself, but you yourself are taking on kind of a Mother Nature kind of vibe too. Especially with the Virgo energy, right? Which is a very caring and effortless service. Being of service simply by being who you are. You don't have to do specific acts to be of service. You don't have to do specific acts to give. You just simply do that because you're in this state. By being joyful, you are being of service. And that this is what you can give. And one of the analogies that I love is like when a candle lights another candle, it never loses its flame. And I think what you're doing is you're lighting candles just by simply being on fire. That's all you have to do. Okay? The white raven spirit, trust in the magic. Ooh, we like magic with all this energy coming out. Trust that it's working. Trust that, again, you're very close to your achieving your goal. Not that you even really care about that so much. But it is. It's coming. It's present. It's here. It's around. Because you have done the magic. I think you guys have clearly worked very hard to get yourself to where you're wanting to be. The magic is done. And so the striving is done. And now what's all is left is just to accept. What's left is just to be. And the magic will continue working the way it always does, right? The way that when a frequency goes out, it will go to the end of the universe and back. I'm seeing a sense of majesty here for some reason, like you're in a period of just calm and kind of royalty a little bit. There's a uniqueness, right? The white raven, very unique, special, that kind of thing. You're in a very special position. Kali, the mother of the universe, I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. Release, right? It's time to be the truth of who I am. I release all that doesn't serve me. And again, her heart chakra being illuminated here. She is radiant. Authentic. Again, connecting with nature is connecting with yourself. Let's see what else comes out. Pope Joan. The possibilities are limitless because the soul is limitless. This is a really big reading, you guys. The energies here are very big. And what's so great is I don't see that anything is at stake. All I see, the only message that's coming out for me right now is that you are coming into an understanding of what you really are. Even she has her fingers pointed toward the light. That's it. This is all about light. And I think your darkness is really shedding. I think your faith in your life, your faith in humanity, your faith in the world is becoming more prominent, more buoyant, and you're starting to just feel unstoppable. Maybe the pandemic was a really healthy thing for you guys to go through because now you're really starting to understand what life really is and what life really could be, and could have been the biggest blessing in disguise. You're starting to understand your limitlessness. Collaborative dreaming. Are you receiving lucid dreams right now? Are you receiving, a lot of downloads and a lot of information? Probably. It's Gemini season. Mercury is hard at work right now, going up to Mount Olympus, going down to Hades. He's bringing stuff from all over the place. And the more you can have this open mind, the more you can be stable, the more he'll give. Because he's going to start realizing how much you can really handle. Even her heart chakra has a spiral going into it. There seems to be no question of who you are at all. Vacation, time for relaxation and adventure. Now, this might not be an actual vacation, seeing as how travel is still very difficult right now. Although the Venus retrograde, I was hoping that travel bans would be lifted by this time when I did my Venus retrograde video, because it's such an excellent time for travel. But since we can't really, or it's a lot more difficult than normal, to take a vacation in your own backyard. I'm even seeing nature here as well, being in a garden. You might even take a vacation through meditation, through astral projection, through visualization and imagination. It might feel like might even feel better than the real thing anyway. Grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. Okay. Understanding that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. I think that's absolutely where you're at. And you're releasing the sense of loss that you had around something. And then just choosing through humor, we even have the laughing Buddha in the center here, just simply choosing to be joyful. That's it. So much control you guys have right now. The universe is always conspiring to support me, guide me, and lead me compassionately toward the highest good. See, I think your faith right now is stronger than anyone I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen faith the way I'm seeing right now ever. And the faith in what is to come is just unreal. And I think that's the best place for anybody to be right now. And when you just simply have faith that the universe is going to support you and it's going to work out, and there is love all over the place, right, Kali? There is love and your soul is truly limitless, then all you have to do is fall back. Right? Like that test of faith where you have two people, someone stands up and falls backwards and the other person is supposed to catch them. The test of faith. The universe is asking you to just fall back. And purity. Oh my gosh, how beautiful. I don't think I've ever had this card come out before since I bought the deck. We have this white wolf, purple eye, and a blue eye. And I think that goes back to nurture. There's something very authentic about what's happening. You're truly returning to the truest essence of who you are. You're returning to your high priestess, high priest energy. And there is nothing bendable. There is nothing shakeable about that at all. So the people dealing with you may have a hard time because they might be still all in their head, and they may be kind of all over the place, and they may be worried and thinking about things. And your calmness, your joy, your humor, your sense of knowing may be very unnerving for certain people right now. See, nature will never be threatened by that because that's how nature operates. So that's why I feel like it's about going home. Being in nature is about going home and being with the energy from whence you came. Okay? I mean, this is an amazing reading. It's an amazing week. It's an amazing time. I really believe that this year it's such a powerful year, and there are so many choices that need to be made. But the more and more we simply connect with ourselves, the higher we rise. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the romantic energy given the Venus retrograde here. Let's just see what comes out romantically for pile 3. This could be the one. You've already met the romantic partner you seek. So, you could be dealing with someone. I know that Venus retrograde can bring out the exes, people from time gone by. And as much as I want to say, like, okay, definitely don't do it, I'm not going to tell you what to do, obviously. I think it's really important that you do take it slow, though, because sometimes it just really isn't what it seems. But who knows? Maybe it is for you. Don't lump yourself in with the general collective narrative. But also don't, believe anything, just off a whim, right? Because I think that there's a lot of open ends and there are a lot of possible endings. So you can go into anything with a state of joy, but I also recommend going into anything without any expectation, okay? But some of you, because of this new state of being, you do need to be a little protective of your energy. When I say protective, is just that this is the kind of energy that can also attract vampires, right? Energy vampires, as some people call them. People that just are very low vibrational and they need a pick-me-up and they can take it from people. So you are going to have to protect your energy, but I'm also not saying completely reject anybody either. Okay, just be open, and allow the universe to guide you. And if you feel for a moment that maybe it's not, then you can, pull away and continue to protect your light, okay? And you deserve love. You are lovable. That might be, a part of this whole light imagery that's coming out. Just a lot of light, grabbing the light, touching the light, giving the light, being the light, and just reminding yourself that you do deserve love. But don't get so wrapped up in the narrative of I deserve love, right? That you can get into that trap of like, this must be the one because I'm manifesting it now. This is not about fitting anything into a label, anything into a narrative, anything into a box. It's about just letting things be and just going with the flow and seeing how they evolve. If you're married, you guys really could be coming together in a beautiful way, reconvening sexually, emotionally, intellectually, recalibrating your goals. And there could be some really amazing effects if you can stay in this state like this, okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, pile number 3, you guys selected the orange calcite. Let's go ahead and take a look at these cards here. We have win or lose. We have trust, coming together, Believe and succeed in challenging times. Interesting. Okay. There seems to be a very black and white situation here. There seems to be, or at least maybe you've said it that way, that it's either I win or either I lose, and there's maybe no in between. I think it's really important that you allow yourself some middle ground with something, whether it's through a compromise or whether it's through just listening to someone. You know, I said this with pile one of the very first, or maybe it was pile two actually. But Gemini, you know, we always say it's about talking and communicating, but it also rules the ears. So that has a lot to do with hearing and listening as well. So it is important to listen because that's the opposite end of the spectrum, right? And Gemini is all about the duality. So it doesn't have to be so black and white here if you don't really want it to be. If you're not happy with either option, of course, everyone likes to win. But when we win, someone else has to lose, and that might not be the best possible scenario. So right now, it's really important that you trust this process. And maybe I'm actually feeling like you may have to forego a win or lose situation altogether. But ultimately, when you do that, you come together, and that's the ultimate win-win. This is what happens when two people decide on opening themselves up and allowing something else to be true. Not everything is always so black and white, right? Sometimes there's red, sometimes there's blue. And I think you're actually looking for more of a red or a blue, you know, kind of solution rather than a black or white. Something more colorful, something more meaningful, something more symbolic and more promising. And when you believe, you succeed. Believe and succeed. And I think trust and belief go hand in hand. When you trust in the process, you trust in how things are evolving, that's when you succeed. There's definitely like a light coming at the bow of this boat, so you're heading straight into the light. And I even like how she kind of has her eyes closed, her heart open, her arms open of just like, okay, universe, give me what you got. In the face of a win or lose situation, you choose something else. Now, the challenging times card is kind of an interesting thing because it's almost as though the faith is going to get you to where you want to be, but it's going to shake things up a little bit too. This is not always an easy path. And maybe that's even just more of changing your mind. Changing your mind itself can be the difficult task. It's a really good time now to be conservative with how you're expending your effort. I think we're operating in extremes right now, right? Win or lose, those are very extreme. Operating in extremes can cause some difficulty. If you're struggling financially in any way, it's important, right? Trust, faith, because you will succeed. If financial issues are causing problems in your relationship, causing stress, causing strain, if there are financial concerns, you are going to get through this. Again, it's not so black and white as you may perceive it to be right now. Venus retrograde, we all have a lens, right? We're all wearing lenses right now, and it is skewing our perspective of things. So what you may perceive to be a challenge might actually be the very source of why you succeed. There is nothing bad about where anybody is. And this is what happens when you decide to see it that way. Okay, let's see. See, prosperity lies ahead. What did I just say? Oh, and then your dreams need a practical plan. So we're actually getting 2 Taurus energies, and we're just finishing up Taurus season now. So we have the full moon in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus. This is all about, again, there's the earth quality, practicality, and there's the money, prosperity. And money doesn't have to be actual money. It can be any kind of way that you define prosperity. But I do feel that you're making really great strides in the right direction. When you come together, when you make a plan, a practical plan, and you start to implement that plan, that is when belief in success becomes possible. Remember faith. That's a big message for you guys, faith. Cow spirit, the miracles are endless. Yes, they are endless, you guys. There are infinite number, especially with the, right, we have the bull here as well. We have the bull and the cow, a very Taurus energy. And we know that the Taurus motto is I have, which is really the master manifester of the Zodiac, because it is about the manifestation in the physical realm of the things that you're needing. The miracles are endless. It is inconceivable to you how the higher spirit, how the higher intelligence is really operating right now. It's impossible for you to see all the interweavings of this greater unseen metaphysical plane. That's why faith is important. That's why intention is important. That's why it can't be so black or white, because you completely give up all the color when it's seen that way. But there is an infinite color spectrum, right? The miracles, the colors, the miracles are endless. You are boundless right now. So you need to start feeling like it, behaving like it, and you'll watch the cracks fill in. Okay? We have white buffalo calf woman, a calf. Oh my God, can we just with the cows already? My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. There is I'm just getting such a warm feeling for you guys in spite of, an obstacle that you're seeing. Like you're seeing some kind of an obstacle in front of you. And yet ultimately the cards are saying, it's not real. It's not real. Don't worry. Your heart is absolutely guiding you in the right direction right now. And if you can bring yourself together with another heart, with another person, it's even that much better. The path of love is true abundance, prosperity, practical plan, miracles. I mean, these are all like really important key words for you to keep at the forefront of your consciousness right now. Hestia, the goddess of sanctuary. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. Yes, because you might be looking a little too much to the external for confidence, for validations, for feelings of security, without giving enough credence to your own value, without giving enough credence to what you bring to the table. And one of the most important things you can bring to the table is your trust. And you absolutely have guides around you right now who are saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Trust me, trust me. And when you have love in your heart, it will always take you to places of safety. True love, true intent. Okay? Free from judgment, free to love. Okay, love coming out pretty hot and heavy right here. And again, when I say love, I don't necessarily mean romantic love. There can be a romantic partner involved in this, but this is not love, the kind of love that humans usually define, right? This is the love that we know is really the construct of the universe, that we know is a part of something much bigger. It's global love, cosmic love. And this is where that true feeling of ecstasy really comes. And that's like when you tap into that, and when you understand that that's the kind of love that we're talking about, that is when anything becomes possible. And that's when the miracles really start to come into your life. Free from judgment, both within yourself and from external sources. To me, I think this week is an absolute return to authenticity, meaning it's not really about what the world is saying that you're supposed to be thinking about. This is about what you want to think about, and that's it. This is about what you want to do, and that's it. Face your fears, release the power of fear, faith, trust. That's the theme. I don't even need to say anything more than that. We have a card of worry. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Wow, so many cards about love right now. It is crazy. And when you're worried, you're not at home, right? When you're worried, you feel very uncomfortable in your body. You feel very uncomfortable in your mind. So the way to put that at ease, first of all, meditation. Second of all, faith. You don't really have to meditate, I don't think, if you really have faith. I don't know. Is that just me? I feel like, meditation, because if you're fully walking in faith all the time, then what else is there? What do you need to clear your mind out from? You don't need to clear out your mind because there's nothing there. So when you wake up in the morning, you can just affirm to yourself, I have faith. I trust. And if you are feeling resentment, right, win or lose towards someone, because you might be in a little bit of a scarcity mindset here, it is that very thing that can create challenging times. And understand how the two go hand in hand. So the release of resentment, which blocks love, needs to be an exercise if you feel like you are harboring resentment right now. I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. And the miracles, right? It is. And it is coming to you. Prosperity lies ahead. This is a big warning, not warning sign, but a big billboard on the side of the freeway that says, hey, pile number 4, prosperity is coming. And I'm even kind of looking at this orange calcite, which is actually kind of a yellowish color. And I feel that connecting with the 3rd chakra, which is, of course, a chakra of empowerment and confidence. When you feel that way, a lot can happen. And then we have going forward. Yeah, you're not stagnant here at all. There is no stagnation. I don't think stagnation is going to be possible in Gemini season. Not with all the stuff happening. There's no stagnation here at all. Things are moving. Things are progressing. Things are evolving. And it's starting, in the beginning of the year, a lot of the messages was, it is a time where there is action happening, but it's happening in the metaphysical realm. Well, now it's starting to come out of the metaphysical and come into the physical. So you're going to start seeing things unfold in front of your eyes. Okay? So this is a really powerful reading, and trust is very important. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look here at some of the romance cards for those of you who are in relationships or who are concerned about romantic love right now. Let's see what these cards have to say. We have make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And sometimes, especially if you're married, it can be hard to do that. It can be hard to cross that bridge, but it will be worth it, 100%. If you're totally single, an effort to put yourself out there, to make yourself available energetically and physically as much as possible, as much as safe, then we can come together, right? Which is what this card is really all about, coming together. Past life relationship, you have known each other before, indicates that there's a long-standing connection here. If you're single, you might meet someone with whom you feel you have a past life connection. If you're in a marriage, you may feel like, your life is carrying on. It's picking up and moving forward in a new direction. Okay? All right, pile number 4, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for everything. I wish you nothing but the best. Have an amazing week. Take care. Bye-bye.